So just one more time for Jairo, and if anybody stepped away, my name's Roger Strang. I'm here with Chad Harris and Sabrina Dean, and we're on the instructional design team, and that's Academic Technology Services. And Sabrina and Chad are going to be monitoring the chat, and I'll be doing the speaking today. I wanted to open up with some pictures of the rest of the instructional design team. We're led by Marissa, Sabrina, Adam, and Maria. And there's one person who's missing here, and that's Courtney Engel. So as you can see, we are a fairly large team, so we can hopefully support the entire campus. And at the end, we'll talk about ways that you can reach out to us if you need anything. So today, it's all about Canvas resources. So I split up the resources that I'm going to be presenting on into two categories. One of them is resources for building in Canvas, or basically creating your Canvas course. And by course, I mean either a class, if you're teaching a class, or what's called an organization, if you're using it in a different way, still all kind of a Canvas course at the end of it. So 3 resources for building are layouts, videos, and a special Zoom integration inside of Canvas. And then the other category of resources that I want to share with you are self-paced trainings for you and students, and live training sessions, which are live, whereas self-paced trainings are at your own pace. So some of you may have come to a workshop from ATS before. They all have a few similarities. So you can feel free to type questions in the chat whenever you have one. And there's always somebody monitoring the chat. Today, like I said, it's Chad and Sabrina. And there's always a live question and answer session at the end. And finally, there's always an evaluation at the end of the session. And that helps us to improve these workshops. So we welcome your feedback. So in terms of the transition, without knowing more about what would be helpful, I can say general things like in summer 2023, like Beach Board is going to be decommissioned. And there are a variety of kind of checklists. So they're like Word documents and PDFs that have very useful things for building a course. So very useful sort of, I don't know what to call them, but just like components of a course. Was it Marina who was interested in those kinds of resources, or was it Melissa?
Yeah, both of us, I guess.
Both of you? Okay. Great. Yeah. Is there anything else in particular that you're wondering about the transition that I can answer right now quickly? If not, then we have time in the question and answer session.
Yeah, that's fine, because you probably couldn't hear me anyway.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, okay, you've got a dog, so.
Yeah. Oh, no, sorry, the planes overhead. But basically for me, a lot of what I do with Beach Board has to do more with specific student groups. So for example, I was telling Sabrina and Melissa that for our veterans and active military students, I essentially host a lot of our content under the content section, a lot of the information there for a variety of different resources and things that they can access. It kind of serves as our central hub essentially. And then for events or things that are coming up, I use the news item quite a bit. But as I was telling Sabrina, a lot of the information that I've found about moving to Canva has more to do with faculty and building courses specifically for, you know, traditional classes than for support services or for staff needs. So I guess the interest
Yeah.
is more in that transition for us than for a faculty entity, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I think yeah, if we can maybe talk more during the question and answer, if you have any follow-up questions,
Sure.
or I'll be giving out contact information for ATS, and we would like to know more about like what would be helpful for you, because we are up to this point, we've been focusing a lot on faculty, so it'd be nice to refresh and hear what would be helpful for you. But we will be hopefully going through some of those things today.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to open. I think we'll skip the poll everywhere today. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my browser and we can start looking at Canvas. So first of all, perhaps all of you know how to access Canvas, but if you don't, then the first step is to go to your SSO and to click on the Beachboard Canvas tile. This will take you to a web page, and then you're going to click Canvas Login. Something that probably everybody here can benefit from is this course view tool as well. So we're going to enter the course view tool. And what this tool does is if you get to that web page through SSO, then as a student, you will know, the system will know that it's you. And when you click on Course View tool, it'll list your Beachboard courses and your Canvas courses that have been published. And I believe this would work if you were enrolled as a student in courses yourself too. But the original purpose is mostly to give students a place where they can see their Beachboard courses and their Canvas courses and not have to search so much for one in the wrong learning management system, or one in the learning management system that it's not in. Because as you know, courses can either be in Beachboard or Canvas right now, up until summer 2023. So hopefully that makes sense. If you have any questions, please ask in the chat. So something that has already come up is like content assignments in Canvas. So we have workshops that will go into this in much more detail, but very briefly, the equivalent of content is modules in Canvas. And then the equivalent of, let's say, a Dropbox is assignments in Canvas. I know that's not much information, but we will hopefully have some time during the question and answer to kind of delve into it a little bit more. And hopefully that, you know, you may have already known that, but hopefully that is helpful. We will be going into news, which in Canvas is announcements. So let's actually start there. So right now, if I had announcements, they would show up on my home page. And in order to make that happen, you actually need to go into the Canvas course and check off a setting. It's off by default. So if you're using Canvas to provide news to your students, then I would highly recommend taking the following steps. So what you would do is you would click on the settings link, which is always going to be at the bottom, which is where we are already. And then click on stay in course details and scroll down until you see more options. And that's a link at the bottom. When you click on that, this checkbox, which is very small, it says show recent announcements on course homepage. This will be off by default. So you'll need to actually check that off if you want announcements to show up on the course homepage. And then you can control how many announcements show up on the course homepage. And then you're going to want to update course details. Something else that might be useful if you're using Canvas for news is for students to turn on their notifications. And what that does is Canvas will send them an email when you have posted an announcement. And this is another thing that I believe students will have to do in order to get that email. And let's go there. So, I'll go over this right now, but you can always contact us if it's not obvious where this is. If you click on account, you can select notifications, and that gives you a long list of things that students and you can set your own notifications, a long list of things that will trigger an email being sent to their preferred email. So for me, it's my CSULB email. And as you can see, there's announcement here. And so, for example, if we want to send, if the students wanted an email when an announcement is posted in any of their courses, this is not course specific, then they would click on the bell icon and change that to notify immediately. And this should really read, in a little bit more detail, it means send an email to me immediately when this thing on the left happens. Just checking my notes, don't want to leave anything else. Another thing that I've heard is useful for folks is the calendar. So I want to go over that next. So this is the calendar for all of my courses. Right now, I only have selected one course, but I can select multiple courses and it'll layer on the events to the calendar. And creating events very easy. You just double click and add the details. So if you have a lot of events that you want students or your peers to be, whoever's looking at the calendar to know about, then you might want to post something to the calendar and remind them to check their own calendars. One other thing that I want to mention about calendars is there's a notification for it as well. As you can see, it's calendar here. So same thing, the folks enrolled in your course would get an email if you turn this notification to notify immediately. And they would get an email saying a new calendar event was posted to this course. Okay. The next thing that I would like to show you is the Canvas Zoom integration. So I'm back in my sandbox now, which is just the name of the course. And this list of links right here is important because it just brings you to different places inside of the course. So the one that has to do with the Zoom Canvas integration is Zoom meetings. So you may not see Zoom meetings right away. You may need to actually put it in this list. I'll show you that to you next. But what I want to point out is that this area looks very similar to the dashboard or whatever it's called that you access through SSO and where you schedule your meetings there. So there is the option of scheduling a meeting from within Canvas, or I should say within Zoom, which is within Canvas. And I just want to schedule one. Hopefully that'll allow me to schedule. And then I want to show you what the students would see. So I went back home and there's this button up here called Student View that I'll click on. So now I'm acting as a student and I'm going to go back to this list of links and click Zoom meetings. And what this shows is that there's this meeting that I created and all I have to do is click join to join. So this may make it easier for your students to come to maybe office hours or whatever Zoom meetings are consistently happening. So I'm going to leave student view. Down in the right-hand corner, there's a button that says leave student view. And I want to just show you how to put links into this navigation column here. It's going to be first clicking on settings and then clicking on the navigation tab. And the boxes at the top are the same as the links here. The boxes at the bottom are the ones that are not showing up. So to do that, you can drag one of those boxes into the group at the top, and then it will show up in the course navigation column. Okay. So I know we're jumping around quite a bit, and I apologize for that. So something else that's different, we're still talking about, building your Canvas course. It's kind of the common thread between these things that you've seen so far. The next thing is adding videos. So we have switched to some degree to something called Kaltura Media Space. And Media Space is basically like a CSULB only YouTube. So in your SSO, if you are interested in investigating media space, there's this media space tile. And this is the beginning of inserting videos into your course, but I wanted to show you this sort of standalone thing because it's kind of the source for all of your videos, so it's hopefully helpful to know about. I'm logged in right now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my name in the top right, and I can see this option, My Zoom Recordings. So I probably don't have as many Zoom recordings as you. And as you can see, I was very cold during some of them. But here are my Zoom recordings. And if you're wondering how to access your Zoom recordings after they're being taken off the Zoom cloud, they're actually all here. So now back to sort of the task at hand, which is actually putting these videos into your course. And as you can see, we're back in my sandbox, and now we're in a link called Media Gallery. And there are 2 videos that are currently in the Media Gallery. Students can click on this link, and then they will see the exact same thing that you're seeing. They'll see these 2 videos. In order to add more videos, I can simply click on Add Media, which is in the top right. And let's say I want to include this one down at the bottom here. I clicked the checkbox, and then I could click Publish. And that'll add it to the media gallery. So now there's 3 videos. And something that always confuses me is when there are things with similar names. So there's media space, there's media gallery, which is specific to a course. And then just so that we're all confused, just kidding, there's my media. So my media is essentially giving you access to the videos, all of your videos, not just the ones in the course, right here in Canvas. So you don't have to go to media space to like publish a video to a course, or even be able to view all of your videos. You can just click on My Media here. And if you would like, you can check the checkbox for a video, and you can go to Actions and click Publish. So that will enable you to publish the video to any one of your courses. So you'll get a list of your courses, and so this is a good hub, whereas the media gallery is very specific to one course. Okay. And now the last thing that I want to show you, which you may be interested in, judging from how I hear you're using Canvas, is how can you learn more about using Canvas, and how can students learn more about using Canvas that you can direct them to. So we have this course, Growing with Canvas, that is self-paced. So once you or a student is in it, then you can, go through the modules at your own pace. And so it's pretty comprehensive. It goes over the Canvas dashboard, your profile, the calendar, the inbox, files, etc. So it's pretty comprehensive. And it includes a lot of videos. So if you think this would be helpful for you, or if you think it'd be helpful for somebody you know, you can send them a link to gain access to this course. And so there are two versions. One is Growing with Canvas, and that's for staff and faculty. And then the other one is Passport to Canvas, which is for students. I'll go over, I think this kind of like our main hub on the web for lots of resources, and that's the Canvas at the Beach website. So there are there's a menu of options here. Faculty and staff will probably be most interested in the faculty support and training area. And for instance, here, there's a list of links, including Growing with Canvas, as well as maybe less overwhelming tips on how to build your Canvas course from scratch. This is an interesting one. Beachboard versus Canvas comparison. So this is actually another workshop that's happening on October 17th. Yeah, so this is actually kind of what I was meaning to look at, because we have an events and workshop page, which might be even more useful. Yeah, so there are PDFs here that can help you build your course. Yeah, and we can't go into complete detail right now on all of these, but there's obviously a good number of resources for you on our Canvas at the Beach webpage. The last thing in terms of learning Canvas that I want to share with you is called the Canvas Training Portal. And it's right here. Okay, so the Canvas Training Portal has live training sessions that are facilitated by Canvas employees. So they're obviously very, very good. I've been to quite a few, and I honestly have been impressed, and I've learned a lot about their presentation style through these trainings. Now, since Canvas is used in different industries, I recommend narrowing down the options with filters and tags. So right now there's a higher education tag and a live training filter. And how that was done was I clicked on filters, and then I clicked live training, and I clicked on tags, and I selected higher education. And as you can see, here's a training on leveraging modules. Here's a live training on setting up for graded content. So these might be additional, really high quality resources for you. Unfortunately, you'll need to act fast because the Canvas training portal may be going away in January, because we've had it for perhaps 6 months, and you know, obviously not everybody's been using Canvas during that time, but the time has sort of been ticking anyway. And so this resource is available for the next few months. Where was that one? Okay. The last resource I want to show you, which I should have presented at the beginning, is, and I say that because it's a building resource. So these layouts are things that you can use to build your course out. And to get here, you would click on Commons, and then you would see the same thing that you're seeing right here. And if I click on one of these layouts, we'll see exactly what it is. I like to click on Pages and just glance at what kinds of things are in this layout. So for instance, there are these pre-built home pages. And if you want to put this layout into your course, you can import it by clicking on this import/download button. Okay, so those were the resources that I want to share with you. I'm going to zoom back over to the presentation for some final things, and then we'll have time for questions. Just give me one moment. Okay. So we have something called virtual support, which faculty know a lot about. I hope that word is getting around to staff. It's a Zoom room that's open from 9 till 6. I know a lot of departments do similar things. It's open from 9 till 6 so that you can go into that Zoom room at any period of time in between those hours, and there are people there to answer questions. If you prefer email, I would suggest ats-instructionaldesign@csulb.edu, and you can use that to ask a question, or you can say that you'd prefer a consultation. Some upcoming workshops. On October 3rd, there's one on media space. October 5th, there's one on ReadSpeaker, which is a text-to-speech software, which is good for anybody who would prefer to hear something being read rather than read on Canvas or Beachboard. On October 12th, there's best practices for Canvas organizations. This is going to be more geared towards staff. And on October 13th, there is a workshop called Staff Collaboration Tools. So there are more workshops, but these are some of the ones that are coming up. And with that, I'd like to end the presentation. Thank you very much for your attention. And if you have questions, I'd be happy to answer them.